Hello, hello, hello. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. Sorry for being slightly uh, behind. Hello there, Andy. Thank you for coming in. And Valleys. It's like I'm seeing you from from YouTube over there, StreamYard here, and on the phone. Uh, so well. The idea right now is to start with or continue with the trestle, but I have had it's over here. Um, I did wind up going to a uh, one of my favorite hobby stores, and to find out, let's see if where did I put this silly stuff. Oh, right in front of me, literally. I was interested into looking into northeastern scale lumber, and apparently they are a supplier for it. So I grabbed a bunch of these. These are 8x8. Basically, we're going to be using these ties for the ties for the trestle. Um, also get to figure out exactly how well these do. So, but also while I was there, this is for the layout, and basically a tunnel portal and retaining walls. Now, the thing is that if you, yeah, oh, hello there, Wigwag. Thank you for coming in. If you notice the retaining walls, it's for those who are, I guess, experts with Woolen Scenics would realize that this is a much older packaging, and according to Mike, who's the owner of Milepost Hobbies, it has on the price tag, it actually has the date that he put on there. This one says 323, so this is not new, but it's only a couple of years old. Whereas this one is November 2012. Actually, if you look at the front here, it's actually sun bleached. Package has never been opened. The tape is still on it on both of these. But yeah, he said it's like the base of the retaining walls is basically when he first opened the store. That's when he got this. But scenery items don't really go bad. I mean, it's not like glue or something like that. Oh, and actually, let's open these things up and see what's actually inside them. I read the instructions a little bit, and it seems that these are, you have to actually paint them, which I did not realize. I thought they were already pre-colored or close to being pre-colored. That I did not know. But yeah, it looks like these come in white. Oh, okay, so they seem to be made out of plaster. Very, very white. So white that the details are completely whited out. If I can tilt it this way, you can see that there's some of the construction board and all that, but you can't really see. Yeah, if I do it this way, you can actually see the boards that this is made out of. So that's the portal. It's big enough that it actually stands by itself. Now let's see this. Now, as ancient as this is, it's 12. Yeah, this is 12. Yeah, this is about 13 years old, and never taken out of the box. The tape is very still, well, it was fresh, but now that I broken it up, now this shows that it's looks like 2 separate walls. And oh, this is whereas the portal is not taped. This has tape on it. I don't know if they were using tape before and stopped using it, or it was just that. I mean, it makes sense that this has tape on it because it is 3 pieces where the other is just a single piece. So I'm assuming maybe that's why this has tape and the portal was not. Yeah. Again, it looks like these are still made out of plaster. Again, so white that it actually. Oh, hello there, Curly. Thank you for coming in. It's so white that you can't really see the details showing off this camera. But yeah, we got the 3 of these. Let's see, put that there. And looks like these are basically 3 of the same thing. I don't know. Let's see if we look at it a little bit closer. Maybe they are actually 3 different molds. Possibly? Yeah, I think these are actually 3 different 3 different 3 different things. The details are actually, you can actually see how they are different. Let's say we switch cameras, and then maybe the other camera shows better detail. All right. Okay. And backdrop out of the way. All right. Switch this, that. Yeah, now that I'm looking at this much clearer, closer. There's the portal. But it looks like these are. Yeah, at first I thought they might have been different because of this being made or something like that, but it looks like, I don't know, it's hard to tell actually. Because up here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but right there, and there, that's exactly the same. It's the same thing. But then there's others, yeah, that right there is the same. However, this is very different. So I don't know if it's the same mold, and sometimes depending on how it's cleaned or whatever, depends on what details you wind up getting. Don't know, but that's what the retaining walls are going to be, and I am planning on doing possibly doing the stepped version where it winds up being stepped down, and then possibly using the unused parts as part of the internal structure. Yeah, I guess we can do it that way. Do that forward out. Yeah, we'll go that way. But that's when we get back. This is going to be when we get back to doing the layout. Now, where can I put these where they won't get damaged? Because these are hydrocols, so these are not what you want to call the I don't want to say that. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, they actually have the. I'm not sure if you can actually see it, but they actually have the copyright date on them. And not sure what that's supposed to be, but 1992, I guess they started. I think at that time they only had rocks, but yeah. Back to this. These are scale number I got are 8x8s, which is the same size the ties on the bridge. So they'll turn around and tie the bridge with the trestle together. All right, now speaking of the trestle, say we trim this down. Probably best to go with the X-Acto knife first. Yeah, usually the Mantua stuff, since it hasn't been produced in years, depending on how it is, depends on how much it gets, how it was abused, which would cause issues. I don't own a 462 myself, but pretty much they're, I want to say close to being the same. Now, what specific problems are you having? I may or may not be able to help. Sometimes I would have to say pretty much take the unit, disassemble the unit completely apart. And then from there, clean it all up. I mean, there's a possibility that maybe there's old oil or grease that's solidified that has turned around and making everything's not move very well. Also cleaning the commutators on the motor itself would be probably a big good one. Ooh, breastford on the rear gear. It's like, ooh. That's a little hard to fix, especially since the Mantuas that I've had right now, they don't they represent having Stevenson gear, which is on the inside, so I don't have. Well, apparently there's a little rivet there. I have not done riveting in model trains, so I am unfortunately not able to point you in a good direction. I don't know if anyone else in the chat might have some pointers. Because I don't know if anyone actually has Mantua equipment in the chat. I mean, Andy, because I think he has, sometimes buys older U.S. equipment, but I honestly don't know. But yeah, brass rivets. I actually don't even know where you can get brass rivets. Yeah, that's good advice, Andy. Because a lot of these locomotives that I wound up buying, basically I was buying them not because I needed more locomotives. I just needed spare parts, because they're not made anymore. So I mean, we got a locomotive here. There's no headlight or smokestack. I got some that are missing the domes on them. This is also missing the drive shaft. Again, mostly because of wanting to have spare parts, and that might wind up being sadly the only way to go. Yeah, here's another one I got that's missing the steam dome and the drive shaft. The drive shafts on tender drives have a tendency to disappear a lot. But then again, yes, it's also very damaged cow catcher. But I mean, that's what I've used to detail rivet runs on tanks and tender. Okay, that's valleys that would work on tanks and tenders, but unfortunately, I think this is part of the valve gear, so he actually needs an actual rivet. I do not know where you would get brass rivets. We sort of kind of done with that for now. Let's bring the diorama up. Tonight, there's a good chance that might have the trestle assembled. portion doesn't quite fit in the picture frame. There is, unfortunately, I don't think there's a nice way of doing this. That goes there. It goes eventually somewhere over there. Just like eventually that goes over there. Okay. So that's on now figure out which size goes where. That goes in these two go center? Possibly center. And then this, well, it's nowhere near the top. It appears I might have made a miscalculation. But see if we can change that. This was what I was originally planning on for the ties, but they weren't scale lumber. I think these are 1/8 by 1/8. But since they don't have the right I guess connections for the top, let's see, 2 work. Yeah, 2 will work. So we'll put these together. And I'll go from there. Which, which is very close to that. That makes sense. Now, so let's start putting these two together. Use our elastic hard that PVA glue does not stick to. Uh-oh. Conversation is turning to food. It could be dangerous. All right. It's one of those things they don't have to have the barcodes on both sides, but it just makes sense to keep the barcodes on one side to keep it from keep it so there's only one side that's has markings on it that may not be useful. All right. I'm assuming there was more than just chicken there. But I don't foresee myself going out of the country for a while. Even though my ancestry is pretty much English. I just do not trust the government at this time. Okay, so we got that there. Ah, thank you, Andy. Usually wait more towards the end to ask that question, but no problem being slightly, early to the punch. Yeah, with the new lineup, I'm having a hard time keeping track of who is doing what. But one thing I am contemplating is moving my time slot. Yes, thank you for the 30-minute warning. I probably should put a new battery in the clock that I have over in that area, because it's stuck at 247. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I believe I'm pretty much I don't know. I know I do know. I think PKNW is one of the ones that start a little early. Mainly because I think he wants to make sure all the equipment's working. So if there's something that's not working, he can turn around and hopefully fix it in time. It's something I think I was doing when I first started, but now I believe in my equipment enough where I don't do that anymore. We'll do this one also. Probably don't need to. But it is one of the things that I happen to realize that what I probably should have done is stain everything first, because where the glue is, it's going to show up. But I look at it this way, since I didn't do it at the beginning, it's sort of kind of too late now. So we'll do it raw and then see what happens. Yeah, everyone does things a little bit differently when it comes to their live streams. Some that are, some are better quality than others. Then there's other ones that they're not the greatest of quality, but at the same time they sort of lean into it and going like, yeah, we don't have the best, but we're doing it anyway. So the second section podcast is one I could think of where they turn around and joke sometimes. It's like, ooh, we've increased the production quality. I mean, one of the things that I did very early on and still do is have the sort of green screen in the back. But second section podcast does not do that. So for I can't think of his last name, but Mike, the guy does S Gauge, he actually has it. He just shows basically the stuff in the background. Which my thought process is like, well, since I started it, not sure if I want to change right now. I might eventually, if I wind up doing a drastic change of the layout, or the layout of the studio, I guess, then I might turn around and change things and say, hey, this is the new layout or the new setup. Okay, so we got that there. Alright, now I'm going to figure out I think the way this is going to be set up is that we're going to have to put ties. We have to put ties down? No, ties are going to be on top. And then I'm going to think on this one. Because with the bridge, there's there's an extra layer down, which will fit on there. So the trestle's got to be one of these down, which I believe those are also 8x8. Let me double check with this. Grab one of these. It's the 1x8. All right. So if we do. Oh, hello there, James. Half of the Monday crew is here. So this side, I don't have to do anything. This side, this side I might have to do this. And I think we'll do that because we want something to sort of hold the bridge. I'm not really a fan of using the diorama as a cutting board. The cutting board is currently underneath the diorama. Ooh, turbo bridge, nice. Now, is that the lift out bridge, James, or am I thinking of a different bridge? That. Power dowels from DCC Concepts? What is a power dowel? That is something I never heard of before. Ah, okay. That's what I thought. Thanks, James. Oh, I got way too much stuff on here. Oh, no, not that way. Okay. So we got that. All right. Now for this side. Hmm. Starting to think I've made a mistake by cutting this off. Well, soldier on ahead. All right. So we'll back out there. That means that one also gets. First, doing this while it's still wet. It's not the smartest thing to do. All right, let's try this again. Fresh glue. Careful of the sharp stuff. Now, one of the things I am thinking of is changing my schedule. Because there are times that I want to do things on a Sunday night. And making sure I'm here every Sunday sort of throws what my wants off a little bit. I'm not quite sure what time to do it at. I know as much of the hardcore people here, I think a couple of them are on the opposite side of the pond, so doing an earlier setup would be, we would like that. And I know there are some that are also north of the border. Which I don't think they would have a wouldn't have a disagreement on it. Not sure how much earlier. I am sort of kind of thinking maybe leaning towards what would be considered maybe lunchtime around here. In in the state of Vermont, which might be I would say 6 hours earlier. And also maybe not be on a be on a weekday, not a weekend. So I wind up losing people who are still working. I am currently working, but I'm working second shift, so that's why you haven't really been seeing me on the weekday streams, because, well, I'm not there. So that's, let that dry a little bit. All right, let's see where this is going to land. Looks like this might land right about there. Actually, no, that wouldn't be landing there. It has to go lower for the tides. So probably the smart thing to do right now is to guesstimate where this is going, then do a temporary cut of where it will land here. And then eventually trim it to trim it there. But yeah, right now it's sort of experimenting what the new time will be. But as I said, it's like maybe around noonish time on a weekday. I believe the retirement, Steve Childers' retirement railroad's on Friday around noon, which was originally a Heathrow Humanity Junction time slot. But that's when he was unemployed. But then when he got reemployed, it's like, oh, well, he's got normal hours now. So he couldn't do it anymore. And Steve said, hey, I could do it. And so Steve has been doing it. Got this to size. And, ooh, did not realize how far out of the frame I'm at. Yeah. It's not quite balanced right. Yeah, unfortunately, my camera setup is really, really janky. All right, got those cut. See about squaring them up on the sander. Closer. There we go. Now they're the same lengths. Not fun. I know. Get everything fixated. Oh, hello there, Randall. Thank you for coming in. You see, right now I'm trying to figure out what's the correct height. For the trestle. It's starting to look like that's a good spot there. Not quite lined up properly, but also I just happened to realize that there is a local art shop that's in Bennington that apparently the guy is retiring and they're closing. Which, you know, basically, you know, anything that has to do with like backdrops and stuff like that, you know, that particular stuff is going away. Ooh. Food is mentioned again. We might have cut these maybe too short. Well, good thing we got plenty of them, so if that is the case, we'll just make them longer. All right, first things first, we will see about gluing that there. Make sure it's centered on that one beam. We'll do the same thing for this one. We had somebody earlier had a question about Mantua. I don't know if they're still here yet, but hopefully we pointed them in the right direction on how to fix that. Right. Nope. I was going to say if there's something that we can put there that's long enough to keep everything from moving, and the answer is yeah. Nope. I gotta figure out a different way to put this on there. Let's see. Let's go this direction. Let me flip the phone so we can see what time it is. Oh, it is 7:50. I'm way behind. All right, let me switch back over to the other camera. Well, it's PK and W, which is tonight's Sidetrack Sunday. Of course, this time of year, it's still bright out, so you don't have the. All right. I don't have the. Since the sun is still up, I make the wrong assumption that, well, we're still here. All right, so. If it breaks, it's done. Yeah, that's what I unfortunately want to lean towards you on that one. So hopefully Mike Jordan was able to take our advice and go where it needs to go. Yeah, one of the things, that's one of the things I don't really like about things that are riveted, because once they're, if they break, unless you have the correct riveting equipment, it's done. And you also have to Uh, trying to think now. Yeah, it's one of those things you need to buy a new rivet, and I have no idea where to get a new rivet. But well, all right, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with me. As I said, I'll eventually let people know. If I do change. Right now, I'm sort of still in the habit of doing it every Sunday, so I will let people know if I decide to change. All right, see you later, James. But I want to say I know that Northwest Short Lines has a. Why, thank you, Randall. Oh, that's right. Today is Father's Day. Since I'm not a father, I have a tendency to go, completely over my head. But happy Father's Day for all. I think the world needs more love, and find your passion. For the fathers out there, hopefully it's maybe it's your kids. Each it's each father is different, and so are kids. So I would say find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around. Bye, everyone.